I wanted to stay in one of the two cabins. The one that
better for the.
and it turns by remote.
Oh yes.
Yeah, it's very fancy.
Yeah, some moves according to my movement. Is that it?
Yes.
What's that?
It can. It can.
Uh-huh.
Usually I have the remote control over here.
Ah.
Well, if you talk with your hands, it's an issue of Lama karma.
Yeah,
We tried to tape it.
Yeah.
I kept going in and out of focus.
Mike has control.
Yeah. Yeah.
I need to fix something here. Just a moment.
Yeah, some moves according. Well,
Very nice.
yeah.
Just move two. I should be ready to get started here.
Do we need like the Chinrezi or Sagna for any opening prayers?
I was just going to do a short little prayer.
Okay.
Yeah. But do you usually do the like the Mahamudra lineage supplication?
Usually on Saturday and Sundays,
Yeah.
but not usually for the public talks.
Okay.
Lama prerogative.
Yeah, I'm
It's up
fine.
to you, whatever you like.
Yeah, I'm fine with doing what you usually do. Yeah. And I can tell I've been here before because it's automatically hooked up to the internet here. and I just got, just to show you what it's like being a Lama, I just got an email saying that my one of my credit card bills are due.
You were here May 2nd, 3rd, and 4th last year.
Yeah.
That sounds about right, yeah. That sounds about right. So,
And
yeah.
before that was February 14th, 2020.
Ah,
It was the last teaching we had before we had to close everything down from COVID.
I think I've been here twice in this building,
Yeah.
Yeah.
besides tonight. Two times, because I had.
Oh, yeah, for the consecration of the building.
Yeah.
Well, I had a talk that I gave in 2024 at Jacksonville in my files.
Ever been to consecration?
It was on emotional healing. Does that sound familiar?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, you see? Someone agrees with me.
That one and the consecration too.
Yeah. I've been here quite a bit. And I have known Michael since 1989. We're old friends in two meanings of the word. Well, according to this, it's 5 after.
Yeah, I think we're almost ready. I think one person joined the wrong meeting,
Ah,
but I don't think I have a way to
yeah.
contact them, unfortunately.
I was at the right place, but it was the wrong time.
There's a song in there somewhere.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. You see, here's the real lengthy meaning of that is that my given name is and legal name is John, first name. My brother is a retired neurosurgeon, so he's Dr. Samuelson. My sister has a PhD in music from Columbia. She's Dr. Samuelson. I'm Dr. John. Maybe I'll just do a monologue.
Yeah, maybe so.
Thank you.
And then we all become enlightened after that. Yeah.
Well, a lot of teachers, very highly realized teachers, will use humor to get help the students understand that you kind of, when you are laughing, you soften up, and in a way, you you have fewer blocks to receiving the teachings. And so it's definitely been used a lot to teach humor.
Yogi Mindra Rinpoche likes to crack a good joke.
That's exactly who I'm thinking of. That's exactly who I'm thinking of. Yeah, and so you will hear a few more jokes tonight before this comes to an end, and tomorrow I'll continue.
I did find his email and I sent him the information, so hopefully
Okay.
we'll be able to get him. So Lama,
Yeah.
start the recording. Michael, if you would like to do a short introduction.
Thanks, Mike. Warmest welcome, everyone. It's wonderful we can be together. We warmly welcome Lama Soul from Yeshe back to Jacksonville. It's wonderful that you're here, and I'm looking forward to a weekend of teaching together. Since we all know each other and you're familiar with the center, I'd just like to introduce Lama Yeshe, who is a Lama with the Karmakaju lineage of Tibetan Buddhism and a fully ordained monk. Lama Yeshe has been a student of Venerable Khenpo the Rinpoche since 1981. I'm sorry, 1989. I'm thinking about the movie. Oh no, that was 84. We're getting there. Time's relative. And completed the traditional 3-year retreat. I believe that must have been 1996.
Yes, that's when I completed it, along with everybody else that completed it.
You received your vows with Hatai Situ Rinpoche and became a fully ordained monk with your full vows from Trangu Rinpoche. So since then, Lama Yeshe has been teaching at all of the centers around the United States. He is the spiritual director for Hay River KTC in Wisconsin. and served for 8 years as a prison chaplain with the state of Wisconsin. So it's a wonderful, wonderful teacher, and as you've already discovered, has a very wonderful sense of humor. We're incredibly pleased to have you back here tonight, Lama, and I want to say that it's really good to see you. Really good to see you. Tonight's public talk is entitled Advice on Spiritual and Worldly Ways, and at the end of the talk, Lama really likes questions and encourages dialogue, so it's a nice opportunity to discuss the teaching. So, Lama Yeshe.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so I'm getting the teaching tonight from a little book that I recently discovered. It had been given to me. I did not buy the book. It's a Nyingma, from the Nyingma tradition. And it must have, I'm not talking loud enough, am I?
No,
Oh.
What you
Yes.
You're fine.
Well, I shy away from publicity here. But anyway, it must have been given out to people that attended a program by a Nyingma teacher in the Minneapolis, St. Paul area. And it's a very small book. It doesn't have that much print in it even, but it's very powerful. And so that's what I'm basing my teaching on tonight. But I'm going to start out with a Karmapa quote, Yalwang Karmapa, because I think this is important too. So here is the quote. Your most important home is your own mind, more than any other. You've got to come back to that home to get to know it a little bit better. And when you rest in your home, even for one moment, it might be the most beautiful rest you ever have. That is the beginning of finding meaning in your life. That is the beginning of making peace with yourself. Sunday, I'm going to go in that direction a little bit more. And then tomorrow I'm going to be talking about karma. So, the worldly ethics for human beings are summarized in 5 points, and I'm going to going over these. But first I'll list them. A gentle nature. Moderation in activity and behavior. An easygoing character that is confidently independent. A skillful examination before engaging in any action. And the 5th point is embracing these points with genuine altruism. Now, a gentle nature. This means your speech, your physical gestures, and so forth, your body language, should be free of anger and harsh words with all people. And free of, we call it a klesha, which means poison of the mind, free of anger, hatred, aggression. And so the defect of this is when you're angry and you speak harshly, you'll never really get along with people. They might tolerate you, but you're really not going to get along. And even people that you've helped in the past might not want to be helping you in the future. They might not want to be close to you anymore. And so people will avoid seeing you, try to stay away from you, and so forth. So it's very important to have a gentle nature. And what comes to my mind when I read this was, of course, our teacher, Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche, who had a very, very gentle nature. And I saw him in situations where almost anybody else would have gotten angry, gotten maybe even frustrated. But I never saw him lose his gentle nature, his calmness, his composure, and so forth. Now, this doesn't mean that you agree with whatever people say that you're with, but you don't have to strongly disagree. And here is a personal experience that I had, and I think some of the most difficult people we can have in our lives are family members. And Christmas time, my brother was there with my parents and my sister, and this was probably around 2011, 2012, and he went into a rant about the evils of Islam. And I tried to have a discussion with him, and there was no way we were going to have a discussion about Islam. So when I came to that realization, I grabbed my laptop. This was in a retirement community. And I said, I'm going to check my email out in the lobby. So I went out to the lobby, and I did a lot more than check my email. I think I was gone for a half hour. And then I went back into the room, and he was still going on about the evils of Islam. But then after I sat down, he calmed down and the topic got changed. So he got the message, he changed, and I didn't have to argue with him. So there are lots of ways that you can communicate to other people that you don't agree with what they're saying without being harsh or being having some anger involved. Now the next one is moderation in activity and behavior. Now we have to take into consideration our personal ability, what we can do, what we can't do, and how much time, ability, and so forth that we can put into a particular activity. So the three factors are our physical ability, our mental ability, and our character. So we have to know these. We have to know ourselves. But if we know that, then we can realize what moderation is for us without just saying, I don't want to do that, when we could. And it might be beneficial for us to do that. It might be beneficial for other people if we would do that. So the author of this book is Patrul Rinpoche, and he, I don't know the exact dates of his birth and his death, but this was the 19th century in Tibet. And he says that moderation without moderation, we have a lot of potential benefits, but a lot of potential risks. And when you fail, you will attract the ridicule of other people. And you're going to feel like a failure. And you're going to be less likely to try an activity in the future. So we want to be able to finish what we take on. He says, avoid endlessly changing your mind. And he says, don't be stubborn. And I can see from the looks on some people's faces, I'm not going to point at anybody. I'm going to look on the floor here.
Did not catch it.
Yeah, don't be stubborn. So I have to say something funny here. I live out in the country. My neighbor is a frustrated dairy farmer, and the economy and the economics of dairy farming was such that he got out in the mid-90s. And I've lived on my present property since 1971, and he was a 10-year-old boy when I moved onto the property. Well, he now has a herd of 12 donkeys. And so I can say, without breaking any vows, I've got 2 jackasses for neighbors. And I tell him that, and he gets a kick out of that too. And I also tell him that I'm a good Christian, because I grew up Christian, and the 10th commandment has a few clauses in it. And one of them is, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's ass. And I have never coveted. Never. So, don't be stubborn, and don't be foolish. And I'm pleased to hear the laughter. So, moderation, be careful of what you take on, but don't be afraid to take on tasks, especially those that benefit other people. And interestingly enough, when you're benefiting other people, you're benefiting yourself, both karmically, which I'll go into tomorrow, but also you feel good when you benefit other people. You're happier, you're more contented. So the third point is an easygoing character that is confidently independent, which at first sounds a little bit, well, that doesn't sound right, because we talk about interdependence. But what this means is that our mind has some stability, that when things are really going well for us, we don't get, oh, so this is wonderful, this is fantastic. And then when things go the other way, up where I live, we say when they go south. I don't know what you say down here. Go north. But when things go bad, then you don't go, oh. You know, you have this stability that we have joys and sorrows in our life, but they don't cause us to go up and down like the stock market. And when you have that confidence and you have that stability, you will be an asset to the whole community, whether it be the KTC here in Jacksonville or your neighbors, if you happen to know your neighbors. I think it's a little different where I live, but at least you know your neighbors. You may not see them a lot, but you know your neighbors. So here the problem is attachment to pleasure. And so we join that attachment with modesty. That and also the long-term consequences, awareness of the long-term consequences of attachment to pleasure. And first of all, change, impermanence, that even the most pleasurable circumstances may not last very long. They can change like that. And the consequences of when you're really attached to pleasure and then it changes, you can get, let's just say, caught up in a lot of subconscious gossip and gossip with other people, talking about, well, that person did this and now I feel like he's da 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 da. So we need to be aware of the long-term consequences of attachment to pleasure. In terms of our speech, it's important to realize the short-term consequences of speech, and then the long-term consequences has to do with karma, the karmic consequences. So we want to have this stability of mind and have a mind that can't be easily changed, but not, again, stubborn. We need that awareness, but this stability, predictability, and so forth. And he says, avoid running after your own countless thoughts. And if you've meditated, it doesn't take long for you to realize that you have a lot of thoughts that keep coming and coming and coming. And, well, you mentioned Mingyur Rinpoche's name. He describes it this way: when you have meditated for a while on a regular basis, you get to know that subconscious gossip, and it's like a soap opera. And not only is it like a soap opera, it's reruns of a soap opera. And so we need to be aware of these thoughts that we're having and not take them so seriously. And the same thing with talk from others or the talk about others. So we want to have our activities of speech and our body to be so stable that even if changes happen and happen quickly, we have this stability. Now, flexibility is necessary, but flexibility is different than constantly changing your mind. I tell you what, if I wasn't flexible, I wouldn't have lasted this long in Florida. And I'm not going to point the fingers at anybody, but I was down in Sarasota before here, and then I was in Gainesville. And different situations in every case. And flexibility really, really helped. And there's also a saying in Tibetan Buddhism, and that is, you look into a mirror, see a dirty face, and try to wash the mirror. And so part of flexibility is looking at yourself and quit washing the mirror and start, you might say, cleaning up your thoughts and your actions and your speech. So I've learned a lot since I've gotten to Florida. And thank you. So the next point, which is the fourth one, is skillful examination before engaging in any actions. So before you begin an action, examine it, contemplate it, and so forth. And then when you have concluded the activities, do the same thing. And again, look at the immediate benefits or the short-term benefits. Look at the long-term benefits. Look at risks, gains, losses that could affect you or other people. So this is very, very, very important. It's so common to just engage in activity because of habitual patterns. This is the way I've done it before, and I feel comfortable doing it the way I have done it in the past, even if the results weren't all that good, but you feel comfortable doing it the same way. So if you do a good analysis and you have good aspirations, and that's also important, aspirations that may this action benefit others as well as myself, then you will achieve your aspirations and have success. So again, you need to look within. You need to make friends with yourself. This isn't in there, but you need to know where your buttons are that get pushed by other people or by circumstances and so forth. And that can accomplish quite a bit when you know which buttons you have that are sensitive. So if you don't do proper analysis at the beginning and at the end could be at the end of the day. It isn't necessarily the end of the whole project. When did this project start with me coming down?
Oh goodness, I mean, we were talking in the fall.
Yeah. So don't wait until I leave Sunday night to do the analysis. You can do it at night at the end of the day. And this is something that isn't in here, but I like to, when I accomplish something, or let me put this a different way. When I'm doing an activity, I'll take breaks. I have to take breaks. Give yourself a rest, and frequently it means eating a snack. And I look at it as kind of like giving myself a pat on the back. When I was chaplain, I kept a jar of mixed roasted nuts in my drawer. They will keep for a very long time, and have a few handfuls of roasted nuts when I took my break. You know, if you're training a dog, when the dog behaves well, you give them a treat. Well, I hope I'm a little higher level than a dog, but I like treats. So yeah, you know, reward yourself when you have accomplished something. And this is how to get good results when you're following habitual patterns, following the gossip of others. How can you get good results then? Possibly, but maybe not. He also has in there, get lured by deceptions. And what comes to my mind is the onslaught of phishing emails that I get. Again, skillful examination, and some of them look very legitimate. I've even gone to Google and, you know, is this? And one of the most recent ones is, it looks suspicious. And I keep getting these emails about, oh, your cloud storage is completely full. And if you don't renew it and you know, get a bigger package, you'll lose everything. So I just checked, I think it was this morning, because I get these day after day after day, and I had, I think it was 147, what is it, MG, is that the free storage space? I think those emails are trying to get my credit card number. So it's really important to, in this day and age, to look deeply and examine things before you engage in them. So here are some sayings that he mentions in this book. Unless you are completely sure, don't talk about it. Unless you have totally understood, don't make a promise. So analysis is looking to see if you can accomplish it or not. And then when you do accomplish it, to measure the quality of the result. Chogyam Trungpa, he liked Zen archery. And he said this, that you shoot an arrow towards your target, and you either hit the target or you miss. Either way, there's a message. So if you miss, there's a message. You missed. And that can help you with your next project or whatever it may be. So finish what you start. Don't blame others. That's really a tough one. Don't pass judgment on everyone else. That's a form of deception. And I was going to say this later on, but I'm going to say it now. And I keep getting these messages coming in, and it's flashing across, and it's distracting me. Can you believe that? well, I got distracted, and so there you have it. But the last point that I wanted to make in this particular quality is that the difference between having vision and having a goal, or having an aspiration to do something, and having a plan. And my life experience has caused me to define a plan this way. A plan is a well thought out fantasy. Anyone want to question me on that? There will be questions and answers later on. But yeah, I didn't plan on becoming a Buddhist monk. But vision is you want to accomplish something, but you don't really know how you are going to do this. You might have a plan, but you realize that you need to be flexible, and you're probably not going to follow the plan very long. I think they say the first casualty of war is the plan.
It's the truth.
What's that?
The first casualty of war is truth.
Oh, okay. The second one is a plan? The idea is that as you proceed on a project, you're going to run into obstacles that you hadn't planned on, hadn't foreseen. And on the other hand, you will probably see opportunities that you were not aware of when you started. And so the flexibility means to adjust to what the present situation is. Again, analysis. And don't just run off after every little thing, but be flexible, be aware, and you won't know how you get to complete your vision until you get there. And then if you have another vision and so forth, it won't go like the last one. It's always different, always changing. So the last point is embracing all of these 4 points with altruism. And this is the intention to benefit all equally, and not some people, but not others. Now this requires a very high level of realization, quite honestly, because we're going to be partial to maybe friends, perhaps family, perhaps some members of the family, and so on and so forth. But the aspiration is to have this for everyone equally. And it doesn't mean that you don't see differences. You do see differences, and you realize that this person here needs this kind of actions or activity to be benefited the most, and that person needs something else to be benefited the most. This goes back to what we call skillful means and proper analysis and so forth. But if we have this genuine altruistic motivation, then we can accomplish these things. So he says, in terms of this lifetime, if we have this altruism, the protectors will protect us. The protectors that support the virtuous will protect us. And in Buddhism, there are protectors. And he uses the word protectors in a way that I believe he is talking about both humans that would protect you as well as the protectors in Buddhism, which only the realized can see. He says that the second benefit is that your prosperity and fame will increase. The third is people will treat you with kindness and respect. And so I'm going to tell a prison story. I was chaplain. I was a chaplain that was Buddhist, not a Buddhist chaplain. There just weren't that many people that were interested in Buddhism there. But what I found, I had inmates that worked for the chaplains. There was another chaplain that I worked with. He was a Baptist, not a Southern Baptist. I'll make that distinction. And I just thought of something that he said. And that was, he was living with a woman and they were not married. And I asked, here he is a chaplain. And I asked him, why? He said, I don't want to get divorced. Yeah, how do you like that one? But anyway, there were times when I had, because the inmates would, you might say, test the boundaries. And there were times when I had to, you might say, have them respect the boundaries. But what I would hear from my inmate workers was that when I would do that, quote, my stock would go up because they realized that I was not someone that they could just push around. That they knew that I cared about them, cared for them, and so forth. I couldn't pat them on the back. I couldn't say, oh, I had to be professional. But I received some very favorable feedback from the inmates. And it was rare that I had a problem in terms of feeling that I was in a dangerous situation. I thought that the two most dangerous things of the job was it took me 1 hour and 45 minutes to get to work, and it was driving, especially in the wintertime on snow. And the other one was because of HIPAA, I did not know what diseases these men had, and a lot of them were, drug addicts and living on the street, and who knows what they had. But I never got anything in terms of illness, and I never was in an accident. So, Patrul Rinpoche goes on that in our future lives, when we have this altruistic attitude, we will be able to accomplish the Dharma and Dharma activities naturally. We will have developed a lot of good karma. Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche said that it's good to have positive habitual patterns, like a regular practice. One thing, regular practice. Respect for the venerable, and so forth. So we don't ever want to relinquish that altruistic attitude, this bodhisattva motivation. And if we have harmful motivation, if we want motivated to do things to harm another person, it will be hardest on us rather than the person that we're wishing harm towards. It's important to have just these 5 qualities. If you have those, that is wonderful. And he says that if you have those and nothing else, you will be supreme among humans. And people that are selfish, have mental afflictions, can't practice these 5 points. It's impossible to. So don't ever let your mind be controlled by negative emotions. So now he lists these negative emotions. And so desire, under the power of desire, people steal wealth of others, they take bribes, they face punishment from the legal authorities, and deceive their friends, and cause a lot of disharmony. So anger says you can abuse your parents, resent, criticize your friends, fight a lot with people verbally or physically, and again, bring suffering to yourself and bring suffering to other people. Arrogance. This is having a sense of superiority. And you'll bully, abuse people, insult people, mock other people. And then I'm adding here a list of, I call it the 5 unrealistic expectations of life. And the first one is, I'm the most important person in the room. And I take this room with me wherever I go. And it's a really big room. The next is, I should be respected. Other people need to earn my respect. But because of me, I should always be respected. The third is, other people should live up to my expectations. And maybe I shouldn't even have to tell them what my expectations are. And of course, I don't have to live up to the expectations of other people because they're not the most important person in the room. Then the next one is, I should not be harmed in any way. And harm could be, well, I spent quite a few hours in a car driving on roads in Florida. Where I live, you have to be driving at least 25 minutes to get to a stoplight, and then you have to be headed in the right direction. So traffic is not much of a problem, but here it seems pretty crazy. And Michael will tell you that we have seen some pretty crazy driving, dangerous driving. So harm, could be as simple as having to wait too long at a stoplight, or having the guy in front of you driving too slow and slowing you down. And in fact, we were rear-ended at one point on the highway. The woman, the driver, she had her mother in the car and was bringing her back from a clinic where there was a health emergency, so, she was stressed. But still, we were rear-ended. We were in a big, huge pickup truck and ran into our trailer hitch. Did no damage to the truck, but the front of her car, which was this big piece of plastic, was totaled, and then there was a light that was hanging out like this and a few other things. But yeah, harm can be as simple as being behind somebody that's going too slow. And I like to point out the fact that because of interdependence, when you are in traffic, you are part of the traffic. You're not stuck in traffic. You are part of this traffic. But you think, no, I'm stuck in traffic. And the guy next to you is thinking, I'm stuck in traffic and he's the problem. So this is the fourth unrealistic expectation, is that I should not be harmed in any way. The fifth one is life should be fair, and I'm the Supreme Court. I get to decide what's fair and unfair. Well, these are all unrealistic and somewhat arrogant. So if you want to know what arrogant is, having those. The next is jealousy. And jealous people will talk about their superiors in negative ways. They will despise the power and prosperity of other people, criticize their equals, be overcome by competition, have an unhealthy sense of competition and comparing themselves with other people. Then greed. You can't part with your money. You can't make offerings to the noble Sangha. You can't give to people that are suffering a lot. You just can't part with your money. You can't help other people. You won't lend money to other people. You might not even be able to want to borrow from other people because you're probably going to have to pay interest, and you don't want to pay interest. And then the last one is ignorance. And with this, you're unable to understand how to accomplish virtuous actions. You're just totally, you might say, blind. We just don't know. There was, in the parking lot at the prison, I'm sure it was on a social worker's car, but it was a bumper sticker, and it said, "Denial is not a river in Egypt." Because a lot of the inmates there were in denial. So with ignorance, you don't even know how to abandon non-virtue. You don't have the wisdom to distinguish between good and bad. So these 5 poisons lead to all kinds of unwanted suffering in this life and in the next life. And the more we are aware of these, the more we will be in a better place and be able to make wise decisions. So Patrul Rinpoche says that we need to do our very hard work to learn and train in these ways of the spiritual and worldly matters. Again, he says, and to kind of summarize this, that if you are wanting to enjoy happiness and well-being now and in the next life, look inward rather than outward. Investigate yourself, investigate your own mind, and put yourself on a path, the path which leads to the way out. And that this will lead to success in both the worldly and the spiritual. So I am going to read here a summary. This is just all a quote. Then I'll open it up to questions and answers. Wealth is a source of great benefit and risk. By making offerings and giving alms, derive from wealth its essence, merit. Human life, so difficult to attain, is only this once. Observe the vows, and he uses the term upavasa. These are vows that are used to control our bodily desires. And then he says the 5 precepts. And there are 5 precepts, and you can take 1, 2, up to all 5, and you choose which ones you want to take. If you can, take these vows, and you decide which ones you're going to take. The next is, hatred is the cause for rebirth in the hells. Port the armor of tolerance in all places. Laziness does not achieve the goals of this life or the next. Practice perseverance like a continuous stream of water. Indulging in distractions exhausts life. Apply yourself single-pointedly to great virtuous aims. To properly understand the spiritual and worldly ways, befriend the wisdom of listening, contemplation, and meditation. Those who are full of arrogance can never be pleased. Those who are full of jealousy can never be happy. Those who are full of attachment can never be satisfied. Those who are full of anger can never get along with others. Those who are full of miserliness will never truly possess anything. Those who are full of ignorance will never achieve anything. Confused minds can never be happy. If afflictions are less, suffering will be less. If afflictions are exhausted, suffering will be exhausted. Therefore, the destruction of this enemy known as afflictions, the basis for all that is unwanted, is most excellent. And that is the end of my talk tonight. So are there any questions? I've got here, it's 8:04. So we've got plenty of time for questions, discussion.
Lama Yeshe, you mentioned establishing a daily practice as part of a way of stabilizing the situation and gaining insight.
Yes.
What is your advice to help us establish a strong daily practice?
Yes. Well, first of all, the first one to start would be a meditation practice. Sitting meditation, following the breath, a mindfulness of the breath. And I know they teach it here. And so then it's best to develop a positive habit of practicing it every day at the same time. Avoid thinking, I'm really busy, but at the end of the month I'll take a Saturday off and I'll practice then. Saturday ain't gonna happen. That even if it's a little bit, 10 minutes, to start out with, just 10 minutes once a day, same time every day, that's a good place to start, because you're establishing the habit. And if you quit, you're establishing the habit of quitting. And that can be a huge problem. So again, think about what you can accomplish and then decide that's what I will try to accomplish. Yes.
Oh, sorry. I think this question sort of builds off of that. One of the first things you talked about was, believe, paraphrasing, like knowing your capacity.
Yeah.
So like physical I get, mental I get, but the character part, can you talk a little bit more about
Yeah,
that?
character is, how you look at yourself, how other people look at you. Character is, you talk about an upstanding character, having some, again, this stability, as opposed to one day you're an upstanding character and 5 minutes later you're in the trenches gossiping. Knowing what you can do without losing your dignity and your, how you feel about yourself. So I'll give you an example. This is a family example. My mother was mentally ill, and I had an extremely difficult relationship with her. I did not go home for 29 years. She was very attached to me and would come and visit me regularly. And I think it was like a 700-mile trip one way. But at least once a year she would come and visit me, and I never said no. I was always uncomfortable. But then I did a 3-year retreat, and I started going home at Christmas time for short periods of time because I knew my character wasn't that good. Does that help?
Yes.
Yes.
It's not so much a question, but I think I had kind of like an epiphany when you were saying that, like you're not the most important person in the room, and that you shouldn't be harmed. And it's weird because today, my mother passed away in 2015, but today was her birthday. And she survived cancer 3 times.
Uh-huh.
And she had it twice before I was born, and then once when I was 6. And I asked her, how did you survive cancer 3 times? And she said, at first I would always say, oh, woe is me, why is this happening to me? And then one day I said, why not? Why shouldn't it happen to me?
Mhm.
And for some reason, that seemed to have this huge shift in her. And I think I've been struggling a lot with, especially the current political situation. Why is this happening? Why is this happening?
Mhm.
And when you said that, it just kind of made me remember what my mom said, and it just all kind of came together for me. And so thank you for that.
Oh, sure.
I guess that made sense.
Oh, no, it made a lot of sense. I could elaborate on what you said. You can be a victim, and then you're defining yourself on some of the worst experiences you've ever had. In this case, your mother, cancer. You can be a survivor, which just sounds a little bit better than being a victim, but you're still defining yourself in some of the worst experiences you've ever had. And a more positive way is to look at it as, well, these are some experiences that I've had, but I've had a lot of different experiences. Some of them have been very wonderful and so on, and some of them not so good, but it's all experience. And I suspect this is what your mother was talking about when she said, why not? Quit judging yourself on the basis of the worst experiences you ever had.
Thank you.
Mhm. And thank you. And happy birthday, Mom.
Yes. Happy birthday, Mom.
When was she born?
Well, I was raised by my grandaunt and uncle, so I call her my mom. But she was born a long time ago in 1922.
Okay, yeah.
And she died. I think she was 95, and so she was still had all of her faculties and
Oh, yeah.
yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, very good. My dad lived to 94.
Yeah.
And here's a funny story about him.
Mm-hmm.
He got a master's degree in business and was a CPA. And he did his own taxes. And he used a little calculator that was solar powered, no printer. And so I went up to see him regularly, and when I got there, I said, I'll get your mail for you, and I got his key and I got his mail. 2 letters from the IRS. And, he's been doing his taxes since the first time he had to file taxes, I'm sure. And so I didn't say anything, I just handed them to him. And he opens the one, and then he looks at me. This is a check for $400 and something. And I said, Dad, there's another letter from the IRS. And so he opened that, and he read it out loud to me. And this is basically what it said. You have made a mistake on Schedule A, line 19, and are due a refund of $400 and something. So then, after reading that, he gets this really quizzical look on his face, and he says, maybe I should have someone else do my taxes next year. Yeah, so like your aunt, Dad, his mind was still there at 94.
Yeah.
But I got a kick out of that. Any other questions or comments?
Mama, I have a question.
Sure.
You probably hear a lot of people, telling you their stories of their issues going on in their lives, issues going on with their practice.
Sure.
Great things and horrible things that are happening in people's lives. How is it, because of your practice, how do you keep these things, or how do you not be worried, or do you worry about these people? You just deal with that worry differently.
Well, that's a very good question. First of all, of course, I'll include them in my prayers. But this is something I learned about worrying. It took an hour and 45 minutes from the time I left home to the time I showed up at the parking lot at the prison. I would try to work 2 days in a row and stay overnight at a home. You know, I would pay a little bit of rent for that. But anyway, a lot of time on the road. And sometimes I would leave home late enough so I knew I would get there late. And there's only one way into the prison. You can't sneak in the back door for some reason. And the warden had an office right in front there, and he had a window that looked out on the parking lot. And sometimes when I would walk into the entrance, he would wave to me. And if I wanted to, for an hour and 45 minutes, I could think, I'm going to be late, and probably the warden will see me. And eventually I came to this conclusion. I could actually only be late once. But I could be late in my mind 500 times in an hour and 45 minutes, maybe even more. And so, what's the point? You know, what's the point of being late 500 times in your mind? It's just going to make you feel bad. And Shanti Deva said, if you can do something about it, why be unhappy? If you can't do anything about it, why be unhappy? And so, this is why we meditate, is to learn how to let go of these thoughts that we want to grasp and hold on to and worry. And it just makes you unhappy, and it doesn't solve anything. So I'm glad you asked that question. And again, I never was told, why are you showing up late? Never got that. But the warden did say when I turned in my retirement papers, he said, you're going to leave a big hole here. So, but I was 65 and a half, and I just had a pacemaker put in, and I took it as a sign. And quite honestly, most people did not look at it as an ideal work, an ideal job, and they would be retiring as soon as they could. And as you know, I have a sense of humor, and I think that last year, one of the guards, with a smile on his face, said to me, "You're older than dirt. Has dirt changed?" You know, so there was some humor there too. And so I got this serious look on my face contemplating this question. And then I said, "Yes, it has. It's faded." And we both had a big laugh on that one. So, yeah, I liked what I did. And I learned a lot. I met a lot of people I never would have met any other way, and some of them I'm glad they were in there when I met them. But even the staff, the guards, a lot of them were retired military or National Guard and so forth, and I wouldn't have met them. otherwise, and nice people. So.
The
Oh.
use of humor. Because you and I both know we both sort of had that sense about us.
Yeah.
I jokingly tell people that there's actually 7 paramitas, and the 7th one is humor.
Uh-huh.
Because if you can't laugh at yourself, that destroys the ego when you can do that, when you don't take yourself so seriously.
Yeah.
And I've tried wrathful speech to get someone the message. I have failed miserably at that. I don't have that gift, or that was the wrong person to attempt it with. But so far, if I can get someone to laugh a little bit, even if it's talking in something serious, it seems to work a little bit better. I mean, not everybody can laugh, and not everybody has that sense about them. But you see, like the 14th Dalai Lama, he's always laughing. He always seems to have a sense of humor. Of course, you know, if you sat down with Yogi Mindra Rinpoche, you know it's just, and I've been told by people who've seen him, like, hasn't seen him in 10 years, and it's the same jokes. But he has that way of opening up the conversation to get people to realize that they're being too serious. I think my favorite was, he was in an airport, and a Westerner said that he was trying to do meditation, he just couldn't get it. And Yogi Mindra Rinpoche said, well, show me how you meditate. And the guy got really stiff, and he balled up his hands, and he was going, peace. Peace. Probably an exaggeration, but it was getting that people to realize that we just take some of these things a little too hard, a little too seriously. You have to let that grasp go a little bit.
Yeah. Well, here's a Khenpo Karthar Rinpoche story. He started out in '89 doing the 10-day teaching. Would go on for 10 days at KTD. And there would be a morning session and then an afternoon session. He would, we would all be seated, and he would come into the room, we'd stand, and then he would then do 3 prostrations to the shrine, sit down, and then we would do 3 prostrations to him. Well, this day, we were doing prostrations to him. He reaches into his robes and pulls out a little foam orange clown nose. And he puts it on while we're doing prostrations. And of course we see that, and we just start laughing and laughing and laughing. Well, there were some clowns, so to speak, in the audience, and over the next 2 days they went to every shop they could come up with to look for orange clown noses, and I bet you they found at least 50 of them. And so Rinpoche comes out, and he's doing prostrations, and we put on our clown noses. And then we are all doing prostrations to him with our clown noses on, and he cracks up and laughs and laughs. And then when we're all done on sitting down, he then says, I'm pleased to see you received the blessings of the Guru. So, yes, Rinpoche would use humor too.
I heard he did that also once with like a fake Groucho Marx mustache. He got someone else to wear it. He goes, no, it'll be really funny. He got someone else to do it.
Anything else? Well, if there's nothing else, then we should definitely dedicate the merit of this talk. and the laughter. And I know some of you are going to know this. So we do just a very short one. And I'm going to do it in English, maybe with a little bit of explanation. And then do what you can to follow me. But it is, by this merit may all obtain omniscience. And what that means is we've created a good karma. We're calling it merit. And may all attain omniscience means may you attain Buddhahood, which is possible for all of us, because we all have Buddha nature. Our mind has Buddha nature. May defeat the enemy, wrongdoing. May this merit of ours defeat the enemy of negative actions, which I've described, I think, in enough detail. And then from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. The 4 basic types of suffering that the Buddha talked about in his original cycle of teachings. Birth is painful, and then, whoever is born dies, and then you've got old age and sickness. So, and it's called stormy waves because of the ups and downs of life. And then, let's see, from the stormy wave, birth, death, old age, and sickness, and death. From the ocean of suffering, or the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. This bodhisattva motivation, may I free all beings from this ocean of suffering. So on that note, by this merit, may all obtain omniscience. May it defeat the enemy, wrongdoing, from the stormy waves of birth, old age, sickness, and death. From the ocean of samsara, may I free all beings. Well, that concludes tonight's talk. I'm pleased you are all here, and whoever is on the internet too. And may you all be here tomorrow and hopefully learn a little bit more about karma.
Thank you.
Thank you all. Our schedule tomorrow, doors open about 9 o'clock. We'll follow the KPD schedule teachings from 10 until noon. We'll also going to have a break for lunch, and then an afternoon session from 2 to 4. If you're going to request a private interview with Lama, please let us know so that we can schedule that and time for that. We'll also be following a similar schedule on Sunday.
And tomorrow's Zoom link will be a separate, there's a separate Eventbrite if you'd like to join via Zoom. And also if you paid in person but you would like to attend Zoom later on in the weekend, please let me know and I can get you that link.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I can't remember what I said about Sunday, but again, Sunday I'm going to go over the relationship I had with my parents, and it had a happy ending, but it was very difficult getting to that happy ending. And then in the afternoon I'm going to just go over some things that I have been thinking about since I got to Florida. Yeah, how about that for what the heck has been going through in my mind?
Tomorrow's teaching is going to be on karma.
Yeah, tomorrow's going to be on karma. And so a preview of what's been going on through my mind since I got to Florida is here. There's 6 realms in samsara that we talk about, but if you understand them to begin with as psychological states of mind that become more solid when you die and go on. But So here is my explanation of the psychological realms. This is dangling the carrot before the horse, or the donkey, as the case may be. So you're feeling arrogant, and you've got some extra cash, and so you invite a few of your friends to a restaurant for dinner, and you're going to pay for it. Show them what a great person you are. And you go there and you order, it's your favorite restaurant, and you order your favorite meal, and the waiter brings the food, and you look at the plates of the other people, and you think, I wish I would have ordered that. Now you're jealous. You're no longer arrogant. Now you're in the jealous God realm. And as the meal goes on, if you're a woman, you start noticing that the waiter kind of looks a little hot. I know you would never do that. But if you're a man, it's a waitress. Maybe I should get that phone number. So now you're in the human realm, which is this the poverty mentality. I need this, I need that. But then this called the server, which is a non-gender, spills some food off of a plate that the server is cleaning up, and now you're mad. So now you're in the hell realm. And then finally the bill comes and you're feeling greedy, and you leave a very small tip. And your friends see this, and then they start throwing money into that pile to make it a suitable tip. And they're so generous that it's actually way over what a suitable tip would be. And now you're feeling like, from the hungry ghost realm, you're feeling, I wish this whole thing never would have happened. And you're in the animal realm of ignorance. So that's a preview of what went through my mind in Florida. So have a good evening. And I'm so pleased that you're laughing so much, all of you. Okay.
Thank you, everyone. We have a request that everyone please stand.
Thank you, everyone online. We'll see you later in the week.
Yeah. And and they expect me to walk out.
Double Dutch.